Today we're going to check out the Mantis X10 Elite. Now, if you're looking for a better archery game, this little device may be able to help. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little bit of archery. Now, a caveat before we get started, there is a major highway right over there, and we're out on the range, obviously recording today. It is what it is. If you can't deal with a little bit of traffic noise in a video, then you might go find something else to watch. Now, for those that have stuck around, today we're going to be taking a look at the Mantis X10 Elite device. Now, if you're familiar with Mantis, they have all types of training devices that can help you with pistol, rifle, shotgun, and archery. The cool thing about the Mantis X10 Elite is instead of having one device for 4 separate things, this one does them all. Now, as you can see, it comes in a really nice little box here. We're going to get into it, and I'll show you the contents. Once you get into the box, you're going to find a quick start guide along with everything you need to use your little Mantis X10 Elite in a cool little case. Now, opening up the case, let's take a look at some of the things inside here. We've got the actual Mantis X10 Elite device. This here is a rail adapter that can go over a barrel or really anything round. You've got some spacers that help adjust this adapter, and you got your USB charging cord. Now, keep in mind that the Mantis device itself is rechargeable with that USB charging cord. Now, the Mantis X10 Elite needs to be mounted to a rail. Now, for bows, this can pose a significant problem. Or if you want it some other place on your firearm, or let's say maybe you don't have a rail on your firearm, Mantis has you covered because they sell a little self-adhesive rail that you can put on just about anything. So for me, I've got it really easy today. I've obviously already got a rail on my bow. This is my PSE Stinger, in case you're wondering. That's what we're going to use today. I typically have a laser light combo on this for hunting pigs at night, that sort of thing. And it's really easy to put on the rail. Just going to put it on there. We'll flip this little lever up, push it back till it clicks, and we're in place. Now, other than the lever to actuate the mechanism to put it onto the rail, the only other thing you got on this device on the top of it is a power button, and also you've got an LED indicator to let you know when it's on, when the battery's low, that sort of thing. Now, the next step after you get this thing mounted is you're going to want to download the app to your phone. The mechanism, the Mantis X10 Elite itself, contains all the goodies and the electronics and the Bluetooth and the gyros and the accelerometers and all the weird things that record the data and relays that to your smartphone. So take your iPhone, your Android phone, whatever, go to the App Store and download whichever app is appropriate for whatever you're going to use your Mantis on. For today, I have downloaded, obviously, the Archery app. Now, another quick caveat, I'm not real sure what's going on with the autofocus on my camera. It's been a little crazy and kind of wigging out every now and then. My apologies on that, but we're going to keep going anyway. So once you get the Mantis X10 Elite installed and you get the app downloaded, you're going to want to go into the app and you're going to want to configure the app. You're going to have to do a couple of things. First of all, you're going to have to tell it what kind of bow you got. Either you got a compound or a traditional bow, recurve, whatever. And then the second thing you're going to have to input into that app is the positioning of the Mantis device. Is it on the side? Is it on the top? Is it on the bottom? Is it facing forward? It's going to ask you all these questions, and you're going to want to go in, put that information in so you get the correct readings. After that, it's just a matter of stepping back, taking a few shots, and checking the readouts. Now the Mantis X10 Elite is automatically going to know once you have fired. It takes a reading pretty much from the time you pick up the bow until the time you release the arrow. Now, those weren't the greatest shots in the world, but they'll work because they're going to give us some feedback through the Mantis app on what was going on. Now, as far as the colors that you see, basically the process starts out, the process of raising the bow, drawing and all of that. It starts out with a blue or a teal color. It'll go to green. You'll see it'll go to green. It'll go to yellow, then orange, and then red. Now the teal color is going to be sort of your pre-draw as you're getting ready. As you come up and you draw back, that's going to be more in the area of green. As you start to move on to target, it's going to go yellow. Once you get on target and you start your hold, that's going to be orange. And then when you release, that's going to be the red that you see. So now that we've taken a few shots, looked at the readouts on this Mantis X10 Elite, let's mess up on purpose with sort of each of those steps to kind of get an idea of what it looks like within the data, within the app, when you're doing something wrong. And so the first thing we're going to do is through the draw process. Instead of drawing and coming up fairly smooth with a draw, I'm going to draw all wild. And as I do that, later on when we look at the data for that shot, the blue and possibly the green should be really squiggly and kind of all over the place. Now, safety tip here, since I am going to kind of be drawing and pulling all over the place, you want to be really, really careful when you have your bow about obviously which direction you're pointing it. So it's a pretty good opportunity, pretty good time to demonstrate a wild draw. And I've seen a lot of people do this. They swing to the left as they draw and do this number. And if you noticed, when I did that, what happened? I pulled the arrow off the rest. So that's why I say it's a safety thing. You need to be really careful. This is demonstration purposes only so that we can get some readings on this Mantis of when you're doing something wrong. So again, I'm going to swing wild and pull it back. Oh, look, I'm not even close, and I'm on target finally. Now, if we look at the data provided by the Mantis, we're going to see here that compared to some of the previous shots that were taken, some of the previous shots where I brought the bow up smooth, that blue line is kind of crazy. The next thing we're going to look at with this little Mantis X10 Elite is how well it reads your screw-ups, basically, when you're kind of wild, when you're unable to really get set into your form and you're not really holding on target properly. That's going to be kind of the yellow and the orange. So we're going to kind of wobble all over the place here before we make the shot, and hopefully that will reflect in the yellow and orange lines in the app. The final thing we're going to look at here on the app is going to be that red line, which is your release. And there's a couple of things that can be wrong with your release. First of all, you want a crisp break. If you're using fingers, you want those fingers to fall away smooth. If you're using a release, you just want to tap that thing so it opens and let the weight on the string kind of pull it away from the release. You shouldn't have a whole lot of movement in your elbow. If you're releasing and your elbow's going way back, that's typically not good. Another thing is going to be follow through. It's very important in archery that you're consistent, and that's the plus of this Mantis X10 device and the app, is it gives you a visual representation of your archery form, of your draw, of your hold, of your release. And so you're able to compare those over different shots and see how consistent all of that is. Is it all over the place? Is it starting to tighten up and become a little more uniform across your shots? Or is there one thing that's kind of throwing you off? Anyway, going to look at release now. And another thing with follow through is a drop. People will fire and immediately drop. That happens all the time. There's no follow through. Now, a little bit of follow through, a little bit of movement in your bow is fine. You'll see competition and Olympic level recurve shooters. They'll fire. You'll notice I'm barely holding on to the bow. I don't grip it tight, and that's not good, because when you grip it tight, you're going to move it around more than it needs to move, right? So I just use my thumb and kind of index finger right in between that, let it sit there. And when you release, obviously, because all of that tension is coming back on the bow, then it can rock forward a little bit on you. Again, you'll see with Olympic shooters and stuff, that bow will go like this. I mean, it'll go just crazy. Now, I've got a bow sling, so I could technically let go of it completely, and I'm fine. I'm not going to drop my bow. I don't want to do that, and I don't shoot that way. But very light grip, and when you release, if you've got a little bit of movement, that's fine, but you don't want movement in your bow's cool, but you do not want movement in your body. So release, let it do its thing, and you should be fine. Now, what I'm going to do, again, is I'm going to fire an arrow, and I'm going to just drop immediately. And we're going to look in the Mantis app what that looks like visually with the red line. You know, I'm so used to proper form and follow through, it's kind of sad because I've literally got to focus on what I have to do to mess up here. It's a little bit strange. Hopefully you've seen the difference there in between the shots before and that one, how I released and it was just immediately a drop. And I actually hit 2 or 3 inches high where I was aiming. So, yeah, I didn't even hit the bullseye on the target. But let's take a look at the app and see what that red line looks like. There's another component of the Mantis X10, and you'll notice this in the app. It has to do with the cant. And what the cant is if your bow is straight up and down, there's no cant. If you go this way a little bit and lean, or that way a little bit and lean, you see a lot of the old Robin Hood archers that'll shoot like that, that's cant. Typically, you don't want any cant, especially not in a compound bow. So this app will measure your cant on every shot that you take. Just go into the app, tap above where it says cant, and that's going to give you, again, kind of a little stick and a visual representation. What we're going to do is we're going to take 3 shots, and I'm going to fire the first one with no cant. Great, form, all of that good stuff. The second 2, I'm going to cant. First one, I'm going to cant one way. Second one, I'm going to cant the other. Then we're going to take a look at the app and show you what it shows you. Now, as you can tell on these shots where I'm canting the bow, not really paying a lot of attention to form because the bow's canted, doesn't really matter. Now that we've recorded one good shot and 2 canted shots into the app, let's take a look and see what the visual representation looks like. So there you go, crew. There is a quick look at how you can use the Mantis X10 Elite to up your archery game. Now, before we leave today, I want to remind you that the X10 Elite is perfect for the overall outdoorsman because it can handle rifle, pistol, shotgun, and archery. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments about the Mantis X10 Elite training device, or maybe archery in general, by all means, hit me up in the comments below. Be happy to talk with you. Now, big shout out and thanks to Mantis for sending us this little training device to play with. And if you haven't already listened to it, there is a Firearm Friday podcast on the channel. I'll put a link around here somewhere where we had Alpha with Mantis on talking about the company and the products and all that kind of stuff. So be sure to check that one out. If you're looking for some more information on the Mantis X10 Elite, I'll drop some links below to that as well. Before you leave, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Till next time, don't forget to chain fire freedom.